Hi everyone, welcome to this Saturday's devotional. It takes me out to Casa Retirement Community and the Ed Brown Center, which is behind me, to a kind of a phenomena that a friend of mine pointed out to me that would be a good representation of some scriptural truth. And that phenomena is right behind me on this sign that you can see, where there's this tree that miraculously has grown up through this metal post that holds up this sign, and then comes out and is starting to leaf out at the very top. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful illustration of Jeremiah's account to Israel, found in chapter 2, verse 21. Jeremiah happens to be one of my favorite prophets. He's a no-holds-barred, just laid it out there. But also, when Israel, and he had told Israel that they were going to go into and be taken away, into captivity. But when they went, he wasn't somebody who said, "Hey, I told you so." He was somebody that reminded them that God was still with them, even though they were going into captivity, and that God would reunite them. And so I always have liked that prophet. But here in chapter 2, verse 21, our scripture for this morning, Jeremiah writes and says and speaks for God, "Yet I planted you a choice vine, a completely faithful seed." Now, of course, he goes on to say that Israel wasn't that faithful. "How then have you turned yourself before me into the degenerate roots of a foreign vine?" Israel had its problems. But I wanted to kind of focus on the first part of that, which is a choice vine, a completely faithful seed. I love how the scripture states that, how God said that. He said, a completely faithful seed. Well, I can't think of anything here as a better illustration of a faithful seed that started in the ground, went up through this pipe, up to this metal piece, and then ends up still having leaves and making a life. And so I thought, what a great illustration for us. We need to be a completely faithful seed, even in the adversity of life, which can be trying to grow through that steel post to flower out, to green out. And so when we face adversity, if you're facing adversity, pray that God strengthens you today to be that completely faithful seed, to keep going through it and knowing that in the end, as Jeremiah reminded the people to, God will rescue you. God will take care of you. You will be able to grow green leaves again. So if you're facing some tough times, just continue. I want to encourage you to be that faithful seed, force your way on up, and then flower out and green out as a great plant. And that's when you'll receive God's blessing, and you will become stronger for it in your faith. So you can always come out here and take a look at this and be reminded of what Jeremiah was saying, and be encouraged in the fact that God is faithful if we remain a completely faithful seed, that God is faithful to rescue us and be a part of a life that shows you how, even in this kinds of circumstances, God's will still comes through. So that's our encouragement from Jeremiah and Israel to us today, and hopefully that gets you set and thinking in the right direction for your Saturday. All right, I will see you next Saturday.